to have conversations with you on these stories coming up in today's show. Gold Board CEO rejects claims of $1.7 billion Gold Board loss. And graduates with disabilities picket at the Jubilee House over public sector jobs. And later, AMA bans tricycle operators, also known as Aboboya, from using inner lanes on Accra's roads. Stay with us on the Channel One Street News. We have the details of these stories and the conversations coming up shortly. To our first story, the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Gold Board, Sami Gyamfi, has rejected claims that the state-owned gold buying institution incurred losses of $1.7 billion in 2025, describing the allegations as barefaced lies. According to Mr. Gyamfi, the reported figure does not reflect Gold Board's actual financial performance for the 2025 financial year. Now, speaking at the Government Accountability Series on Wednesday, August 19, 2026, he accused the opposition, particularly the minority leader Alexander Penyomarken, of repeatedly making the claim in Parliament and through the media. And that's a conversation we hit the streets first today. I have here with me Alhaji Mutala. What do you know so far about the whole issue surrounding the Gold Board losses?
Okay, to me, I know this Gold Board matter is too political. But, opposition and the ruling government, everybody is saying what they know about the Gold Board issue. But to me, I know Sami Gyamfi. Is somebody who I don't think he will just create something which is not real. He's a hard-working guy, and people know him very well. So I don't think Sami Gyamfi will lie to Ghanaians about this Gold Board. Before even they took over, when your mama came to power, they took over. They said they want to make this, what they call is 24 to reset. So when Sami Gyamfi came to the Gold Board, people see that the business was going very, very well because government has made a profit. So the opposition just want to use capital to put politics in it. But if left to me alone, I see that Sami Gyamfi has done very, very well. So they should leave politics aside and just allow the guy to do the business for we Ghanaians.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So let me also come to Kennedy and pick your thoughts on what you've heard so far about the Gold Board losses. Minority has made claims. Gold Board has also come to debunk these claims.
You see, when we talk of Sami Gyamfi, it was something Gold Board wasn't there. And if Sami Gyamfi have managed to make a profit of $10 million in the year, and let's say he has even run loss to $1 million, I don't think there's a problem about this thing. By him, minority leader today, attacking Sami Gyamfi, was it not in ECG board when the container got missing at Tamahabo? He should come back and do press conference about where those containers have gone to and leave Sami Gyamfi alone, because Sami Gyamfi is doing what Ghanaians want. In a year, in their time, there wasn't Gold Board. Your mama came and then put a Gold Board in place, and then Sami Gyamfi is working. They should leave Sami Gyamfi alone to work. Thank you.
Okay, so you just believe that this is just politics and bringing out, like, but I mean that the IMF also came out to make some, also reveal that there were some losses actually incurred between the Gold Board and then the Bank of Ghana, their gold for reserve program.
Is that not the same World Bank that came and then said it is administration losses? Abi, you get me? So there's no losses at Gold Board. They should leave Sami Gyamfi alone to work. Okay. And let's talk of the ECG cable. Was it not the board chairman when those containers got missing at Harbour? he should go and then think and come back again.
Okay, I'll come back to the two of you. I'll just speak your thoughts and then I'll have another question for you. So you've heard the two of them make their submissions. They seem to be speaking very highly about Sami James. But we're talking about the Gold Board, an institution that has been there barely a year now. Was created in 2025. What will be your assessment of their work so far in making sure that we bridge the gaps when it comes to gold purchase from the artisanal small scale miners for export and also curbing smuggling in that space?
So personally, I believe that as our leaders have been chosen, they are in the right places to work because the president will not just be in the place of nominating these individuals if he doesn't know their capacities. And then an institution that is barely a year old shouldn't be judged based on political agenda. Okay, so let's as a country, let's put aside our politics and then put people in the right place with principles and then not politics. So if we need work to be done by these institutions, what are we expecting them to do? Are we stating those things out for them to do? Because I believe that um, a country as Ghana, right, that is more political focus will not progress in terms of this arguments when we are talking about gold as a mineral that is potentially one that can promote this country to a place that it needs to be. So when we want to focus our attention on riches and then prosperity of the country, then let's put in place principles. Let's put in place laws and then things that would guide whosoever is in power at the moment or whosoever would be in power so that the right things can be done at the right time, because I believe that if we are doing politics around this thing, we are not going to get anywhere. Thank you.
I like the fact that you mentioned the prosperity of the country, and this is a question that goes for the two of you both ways. Do you think that Ghana, being one of the leading producers of gold on the African continent, is reaping the benefits that is supposed to get from having such a precious mineral?
So countries like Dubai, Nigeria, Singapore, China, these countries have found a way of making their countries one that is attractive to both producers and then importers. Do you understand? But our country, Ghana, has a lot of minerals, especially the gold you are mentioning. But we don't see the benefits of this mineral, especially because when imagine if the percentage of gold we are reaping from the country is from the small, not the small scale, sorry, the galamsey. What do they do at the end of the day? They police our water bodies, they destroy our environment, our neighbors, and then children, mothers. The entire population is suffering from the side effect of their procedures of mining. So you realize that even if we are getting money from it, part of those money is going into having to restore the land, having to restore the water bodies, having to furnish our hospitals so that they can be able to cater for the people who are suffering from this illegal mining. So I think we are not reaping the benefit because the losses we are gaining at the end of the day is much more than the benefits that we think that the Bank of Ghana is giving us. Because if we should look at the financial aspects, then what about the environmental and then the social effect of what the illegal mining is doing to us? So I don't think we are reaping the full benefit of the gold as it is.
Okay, what about you?
You see, before then, people used to come from Burkina Faso everywhere and then come and buy this gold. And gold. But today there's a gold board. When you come, you go to the gold board and then they take you through the procedure so that the country can generate revenue. But before then, and the MPP wasn't having all these things. So today, let's say a vision leader like John Dramani Mama is in, and then he's bringing Sami James to mine the gold board. And then within the year, we can get over $10 million to manage our economy. Minority shouldn't be attacking Sami James that he has run losses. They should think.
So Sami James in his press briefing during the accountability series said that they had made some surpluses exceeding 900 million Ghana cedis and even a bonus on that, which was about 5 billion. Now, the issue you're mentioning now is that, right, the board has been created.
Yes.
What about the revenue that is being generated from it? Are we seeing the benefits from these revenues? Are we seeing it being used and put into effect? That's what I'm trying to find out from
That is
you.
the revenue they are using to manage our economy. And you could see where the dollar was. They are using it to support this. So Sami Jenfi, the minority should even clap for Sami Jenfi because less than a year, a small boy, he's not even up to 40 years. See the way he's managing the gold board. But to come out and then be attacking Sami Jenfi, it is not the right way.
To our next story, the coalition of unemployed graduates with disabilities picketed at the Jubilee House on August 19, 2026, demanding greater access to employment opportunities within the public sector. The group says the action is in response to what it considers the government's failure to adequately implement legal provisions requiring the inclusion of persons with disabilities in the public sector employment space. So I have here with me some persons living with disabilities, and I'm going to engage them on this development. First of all, let me begin with Jonathan. Jonathan, just describe to me, how is it like as a person living with disability in Ghana?
All right, thank you so much. For person with disability in Ghana here, when you begin in school, you begin in the inclusive school from crèche through to the GHS level. Then at the secondary school, you are included in the mainstream, where you have some selected schools that decide that they will admit you for you to have the same education with them. Very selected. They are very Accra. You don't even have one in Accra. Can you imagine Greater Accra? So even in Ashanti region, we don't have. So you have to go to Eastern region, Upper West. Uh, you have to go to the the Central region, the Bono region, and one is at Sirigu. That's where you can get in a school to attend, and then the Volta region. So after that, you have the chance to. That is, if you are still interested in education, you have the chance to go to the tertiary. There, the colleges too, they have some selected ones at uh, PUC at Eastern region, Wesley College at the Ashanti region. Then you go to the north, the western, the upper west, you also find one there. Or to go to the tertiary institution, like University of Ghana, UCC, Winneba, those three. And then you also get the other ones, the K University. That is if your own is physically challenged. But for visually impairment, you have only chance with the three. That is the UCC and then the other two.
But Jonathan, personally, what was the experience like growing up in Ghana and going through all these processes?
Well, very challenging because at the age of 4, I had to leave Ashanti region and go to Eastern region and be a border. You don't know anybody there. Nobody is there with you. You no parents. And at the age of 4, so it was very challenging because sometimes you get up and you don't even know you don't even know how to take care of yourself.
Right.
You are left in the care of somebody else who has also, in a way, has been given some training to handle children. But sometimes, because the person is not your biological parent, certain things are there that it becomes difficult to be handled. So it was quite challenging. And then after that, I have to be traveling to other places for another education. So even if you want to get education here, it's too expensive. The traveling is more expensive because the roads are not good. The roads are not good, and you are always moving up and down every day, every time. It makes it very, very challenging.
Okay. Okay. Let me come to your colleague here. He's talked about how the experience as a person living with disability is like in Ghana, the challenges that he has been through. What would be your rating? Would you say that you guys are prioritized?
Oh, no, I would say that there is less priority given to us persons with disabilities in Ghana with regards to our education. Yes, because I equally began to go to school at around age 9, and I had to also go through the boarding system. I had to go through some very far distances. I'm from the Western North region. That's where I stay. So I had to uh, move there from. I have to move from the Western North to the Eastern region, which was very far. Those days wasn't easy to come by cars. You have to go and be in a very long queue, and at times you get there in the night. You cannot even get the next car to take you to the school. Sometimes you have to sleep at the bus stations and all of that. And moving forward to going to the senior high school and all of that. So it's been very not comfortable for us as persons with disabilities and education.
Okay, we've heard a bit about the experiences.
Yes.
Let me head over to Alberta. Alberta, you finished school. What course did you study at the university, and how has the employment scene been like after schooling?
Well, I completed UEW 2023, and it has not been easy because being a person with disability and then competing with the mainstream looking for jobs to do, it's kind of stressful because what our same colleagues would do, we cannot do if you are not employed. And for us, we can only go to school. We can't graduate from school and say there is no employment, so we'll come and do Uber or any menial jobs. We cannot do it. So it's very stressful. It's difficult. So what we need is the government to include us and then give us employment in the public sector so that we will also help the younger ones and then do not become a liability on our families and then the nation as a whole.
Okay, Jonathan, Alberta mentioned something, a liability. I like that word so much. The unemployment scene for you after schooling, how would you describe it? Like, how has the response been since you finished school? You are unable to find employment that suits you well.
Wow. So for the past 4 years, it's not that I've not even applied to private institutions for a job. You go for interviews and they find a way to disqualify you by asking you that if we employ you, how are you going to get your support? But and it's quite stressful. So it gets some time. I decided that I will not go for any kind of interview with any private institution again because you don't go and you tell them all the ideas that you have in your head, and then they will just in the last question and ask you, how are you going to do the job? So it's been stressful. You cannot get up every day and you go to your mother or your father and tell them that give me money to buy data. When you have completed school, your siblings are behind you. They are looking up to you to provide, at least make something for them to follow. How will you convince your my last brother who is now in university? How will I convince her that when you go to school, this boy, when you go to school, when you finish, you get job? So if I don't get a job, I mean, then I get up and for 4 years in the house, after 2020 to 2022, 4 years it's been tough. It's been very tough. It's been very, very tough.
Right. Finally, 5% inclusion. That is the call that you are making, that government actually acts on its promise to you. Expand on that.
Yeah, so the government, whilst in opposition, stressed that when they are giving the power to the country, they would give us 5 quota. I mean, anytime they are giving employment, they will make sure that 5% quota is reserved for persons with disabilities. And even when they resumed office, they've been speaking about it in Parliament. The president himself, the education minister himself, does speak about it. But we saw the portal, we all applied. Even there was a portion where you had to take if a person with disability, and we did all of that. But the letters came, and then we weren't considered. In fact, almost all who applied to the portal as persons with disabilities were abandoned.
So there you have it. The conversation on the street today has to do with inclusion, and I have been engaging some persons with disability on the streets, and we've been talking about the 5% recruitment share that the government had actually promised to give them, and they are calling on the government to actually act on that promise. You're still watching the Channel One Street News on Channel One TV. Still to come, AMA bans tricycle, popularly known as aboboya operators, from using inner lanes on Accra roads. We'll be back with the details of the story and the conversation shortly.
Ghana is built on stories. The dreams we chase, the challenges we face, and the change we demand. At Channel One TV, we bring these stories to light with truth, fairness, and courage. We listen, we question, we amplify. Because when your story is told, change begins. Channel One TV.
You're welcome back to the Channel One Street News on Channel One TV. Let's do some more stories. And the Accra Metropolitan Assembly (AMA) has banned tricycle, popularly known as Aboboya operators, from using the inner lanes of Accra's roads. The directive forms part of the Assembly's measures to improve road safety and reduce accidents involving tricycles. Now, speaking to journalists, Accra Mayor Mike Alote said Aboboya operators must use designated side roads where they are available. So I have here with me a mix of taxi drivers and then Aboboya operators, also known as Pragya in some instances, to talk about this issue. Sisia AMA for saying, Omon pese eye Pragya drivers and Aboboya a friend of Brofum tricycle operators no ebefa the inner lanes of your major streets no. For the outer lanes because usually Nayana drivers for complaints be brave. And then I doing tray if case way story way.
Oh, okay. I want me my doing training say asamu way ebeto na akoye emra. Ye na ye kita motos ni nyina no. Ye be hu say ense say ye ra inalemu. To the point say issue na happen na no is it a Pokwasi road no so something like that. Ebi anka wo outlet no mo a ebi asade no ensi. Nti say ye nyira ye nim say ye mura dia e betimi di outlet no mo say na be ya asumdwe beba.
Nti wo de obe ni omo ye adwen say omema san emra no.
Oh, so moon ensizi and say my use moto no kwan dia many problem.
Okay, oh me was so uti. Woni wo nua be ma e ya adwen.
Me dem ne nya adwen because.
Adentia.
Adentia me ne nya adwen say sisi am call pass ya che me fa inner lane no. So me ni baby am akofa outer lane so I busy nti inner lane na say me use. Nti me fire na police ni bi che me nti me dem ne nya adwen kra.
Okay, today now person enka the actual rule concerning baby SSM offer.
Oh, I'm consider na fa inner lane no. Eno na me pese.
James, we taxi driver ni eba no movement. Efa Pragya for Aboboya for ewo main road ni so idea na wo ekafa ho.
Oh, near me carry and crack. Because Aboboya no any weight. It's too like on Namina Lane Musa. Maybe I bet me a cause accident. But I'll tell a bet me a bote. I never brought up in traffic mobile or dodgy say or rebo one gina. No again. And also to me chasing. No gina will our selka. Apart from Nudia, many are.
What about you? Conversation I have it. If I said you're restricting movement, or inner lanes, and then I also walk around.
Okay. To say inner lane if I need dear. I won't say any no. A human I am. Sir, almost a month in my young far inner lane. The man as I said that home was say, Omunchre. Omuno yam penny for a dear. Omuno bet to me a card, I said, yeah, baby. By a Juma we say, because of sudden it is a person who go to mana. A Juma we buy any cra boys be pretty womb. Omwako school. But free school no ba no monye Juma nyede enye. A Juma we to me bo muso side to me come anu kakra. It is a bedroom baby say Juma we say omuse yen go Juma we and I say omuse omumpeni ema yen fa ina lenti. No imagine sa de so egu Juma we a ebe ha ya ye ni yen san ho Juma bia de ye Oti da mi kire na ase and I say obi o ha Juma we anu na odi hwe ni family nyina eba no ebua boys bebre ma krono semni enoma kitinkiti ye nim boys bebre a ye ka krono omu bo krono ba Juma we ba no bebre na ajai krono ni bo Oti ase bebre na ajai krono ni bo sisi awukọ omufia ɔmo wɔ family a ɛwɔ adwuma wei ɛno na ɔmo de hwɛ ɔmo nti yɛsrɛ mpanyinfoɔ sɛ ɔmo nyɛ dɛ ɔmo nyɛ bibi mfa ahoma yɛ ɛna adwuma no nso so no ɛba saa no adwuma no abɛyɛ one way wote aseɛ one way ebi te sɛ yɛ yɛwɔ dɔmi ha sei no baabi a egyina te sɛ kasa no ɛyɛ wei dɔmi Christian village ɛna yɛwɔ sisi ano ɛna aha sei no adwuma no akɔyɛ one way dɔmi to village village to Pilatu dɔmi to village te sɛ na ma adwuma no nso because of sɛ na ɔmo yɛ ne nti ɛma sɛ adwuma no yɛntumi nkɔ baabi a sɛ yɛkɔ wote aseɛ yo ɛna second one nso police for hire ɔmo sɛ lances yɛwɔ lances yɛmu bebree wɔ lances road works bibia yɛwɔ bi but woduru baabi a na police akyiw wɔkyiw no nso so wɔnka reason nti na ɔyɛ dɛm wɔkyiw deɛ ɔbɛka kyiw ni sɛ yɛsɛ pragea nyɛ adwuma ade ntina odi pragea ba wɔkyiw nso so ade ɔbɛgyiw no na wɔagyiw 200 300 but yɛfa nipa baako ahin na yɛgyi 4 cedi 3 cedi ebi hɔ kora 2 cedis na police agyiw a day one day agyiw 300 cedi 400 cedis a ɛbɛ higher ɛma yɛntumi reason nti nso na boys ni bi atumi sɛ
higher sir ɔmo higher sir
What problem in any day?
me problem ni sɛ sisi a yɛwɔ Christian village junction no so no yɛni baby a yɛbɛyɛ adwuma no yɛbɛ stand as a station a yɛbɛyɛ adwuma because small time na me brother no Canada obo na police aba aha egyina kwa nyɛ save o ometimi aba any time obo na o ma be sisa nyina kpa omo de kɔ na yɛnka the problem why adeɛ no krampo anase ne ɔmo yɛ no ɛnkyerɛ wo ɛno ne sɛ fasika bra nti no me problem ni sɛ panyino ntie yesu because we ya na yesu ye ya ye di hwɛ fie ɔmpɛ bebi ma yɛn sɛ ne yɛbɛyɛ yesu yɛbɛtimi ayɛ adwuma roadworks ye tua bibia wɔn sɛ bibia bɔ moto no ho ɛyɛ me ye tua bibia nti no ɔmo yɛ bibi ma yɛn so no yakoma tɔ yɛyɛm na yɛ adwuma.
So there you have it, conversations with some Aboboya and Pragya riders on the Channel One Street News. We'll be talking about a ban by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly that they should no longer use the inner lanes but strictly stick to the outer lanes, and also by the end of 2026 make sure that they get reflectors on their tricycles. And other than that, they've also raised concerns that they would also want the assembly to rectify. And that's how we wrap up on today's episode of the Channel One Street News. But before we go, let's take a recap of our headlines. Gold Board CEO rejects claims of $1.7 billion gold board loss. Graduates with disabilities picket at the Jubilee House over public sector jobs. AMA bans tricycle, popularly known as Aboboya operators, from using inner lanes on Accra's roads. For more details and updates, do log on to channel1newsonline.com. Let's get interactive on our various social media platforms on Instagram, Facebook, X, and on YouTube. We are Channel One TV. I am Adwubi Wiafe Akenteng. Many thanks for watching.